This
And it's
conference
my
will now be
pleasure
recorded.
to invite and welcome the speaker of the day, Dr. Sukhdev Singh, who would be later speaking on the topic motivational and leadership techniques and insight in students. Dr. Sukhdev Singh has been awarded PhD degree in finance from Punjabi University, Patiala. He had been awarded with MCom degree from Punjab University, Chandigarh. He had done his MBA in finance from IGNOU, New Delhi, and he has also completed PG diploma in PMIR from Punjabi University, Patiala. He has been working as a Dean Research and Professor in Management at City University, Ludhiana from December 2019. Earlier, he was a professor and head of Department of Business Administration at Guru Nanak Dev Engineering College, and he had been associated with this institute for almost 12 years. He have an experience of online teaching and offline teaching as well, and he had been working on providing guidance to PhD students, MPhil students, and MBA students. 15 students, PhD students under Dr. Sukhdev have been awarded degree, and 8 students are still under his guidance. Dr. Sukhdev Singh have completed his research project on topic problems and perspectives of small scale industry in Ludhiana, sponsored by UGC. He had many publications in international journal as well as national journal, and he have a vast scope of other research publication. His papers were accepted in national and international conferences, and he have been awarded for contribution to teaching profession by Shaheed Seva Memorial Society. I welcome you, sir, for the session. It's my pleasure to welcome you here for the session. Welcome, sir, for the session.
Thanks a lot, Dr. Mandeep. I am really beholden to the entire administrative hierarchy of Guru Nanak Dev Engineering College, especially Dr. Navdeep, who has given me this opportunity to visit online my institution, the institution which I love most, respect most. So I am really beholden to all the faculty members of this department that they have given me opportunity to interact with the participants of this course. So my today's topic, student leadership. So I think I should start, Dr. Mandeep.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can start, sir.
Okay. My screen is visible.
Yes, sir. It's visible. The screen is visible and you are audible too, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Uh, okay, ma'am. I'm audible now.
Yes, sir. You audible, sir.
Okay. My dear participants, the topic of the day is student leadership. So obviously, the question would arise, why student leadership? Even leadership by senior citizens, senior people have ruined the country. India could not achieve whatever the foreign countries has achieved, even small countries of Europe. And still concern is raised in India even for student leadership. It's considered as negative because most of the students, they go for strike. Politicians exploit the students. So should there be again concern for student leadership? Should we promote develop student leadership? Definitely. This is at international concern at the international level. I really appreciate Dr. Navdeep to choose this topic, and I was really surprised over the vision of Dr. Navdeep to choose such a topic. When I was searching for the literature to prepare my, frankly, this PPT, I could not find a single paper which is of Indian origin, written by India. And then I was really surprised how Dr. Nadeep chose this topic. So I really appreciate, congratulate Dr. Nadeep. You deserve a lot of applause, appreciation. It's such a good topic. So my dear participants, they said, child of today's, tomorrow's father. So today's students are tomorrow's leader. So educational institutions are such places whereby at least some ethical values prevail. So we must promote ethical leaders. That is why your role as a nation builder will be achieved. So let us look at this slide. The slide states the education sector has been criticized because of the limited opportunity it makes available for student leadership development. Because just focuses on syllabus, finishing the syllabus, conducting the examination, awarding the marks, giving the degrees, but something still is expected. तारों से आगे जहां और भी है, something else is expected from us, from teaching fraternity, for the society, by the society. Among employers, there is a growing concern. Among employers, even industrial concern, business concerns, there is a concern that young people are not being adequately prepared with the leadership skill to compete in the global economy. Among employers, there is a concern we are not adequately prepared. It means this topic focuses on major stakeholders of the educational institutions, teachers and being taught. There is responsibility now, and I think after this FDP, we all will start realizing we still have to attain something, provide something to the society. And all of you, please keep in mind Robert Frost's line, woods are dark, lovely and deep, but I have promised to keep, and miles to go before I sleep. At least there should be concern. The current increase in student fee in higher education and the accelerating commercialization of educational journey have increased the perceived importance of student engagement. The society is demanding, the employers are asking you in education institutions to increase the fee. commercialization has increased, but whether we have provided something reciprocal to the society, then for what fee is enhanced. Such a last point, it suggests that the students with little opportunities to shape their educational experience tend to adopt a more passive attitude towards the education and learning. Look, students have adapted passive attitude. Why there is a high degree of absenteeism? Why there is not much liking for Indian education system? It means definitely we lack something. As Babaji says, "आप नरे गिरवान में," Baba Farid says, "आप नरे गिरवान में सिर नीमा कर देख." Sir Nima means at least we must think. We will have to give a thought that we lack something. So it's not just concern for teachers, at least teachers representative in management, they can raise this voice. They can ask the principals, the directors of their respective institutions, we lack this thing. So identifying successful ways to develop leadership capability in students is an ever evolving and important discussion among educationists. I have quoted the source. If you will need it, I can send it to Dr. Navdeep. Concern for student leadership. A study done in 2007 showed that 80% of US citizens feel our society needs more leadership in order to avoid a national decline. 80% of the US citizens feel. And what about India? What about India? There is no such a survey. I could not trace out. If you participants, you can trace out, then that would be better. That I think again that would be service. At least we can conduct some such project. We can ask the students, what is your opinion regarding student leadership? At least those concerns in education institutions which are running department of management, they can ask their MBA students to conduct a survey for the need of requirement of leadership among the students. Government 2000 states that leadership is a huge responsibility for our education system faced with global challenges such as, what are the global challenges? Obviously, self-interest, every economy, every individual, self-interest. Incivility, it's going increasing in civility. Civilization is declining. Greed, all these inactive values, coercive power, adultery, violent extremism. He sees the leadership as a way to help students make a difference in the world. Types of leadership and education institutions. All of you people are aware. Business leaders, what type of leader we are to develop? Business leaders, religious leaders, freedom movement leaders, social reform leaders, political leaders, union leaders, miscellaneous types of leaders, innumerable. You can count, you can say all of you are more qualified, well versed. Almost all have relation with the education institutions. So it means such a type of leaders we will have to develop. So what's a leadership? Leadership is open to many interpretations and different definitions. There are probably as many typologies of leadership as there are actual leadership styles. According to political and cultural values. So almost in commercial societies, negative values have increased everywhere. Greed for money, lust for money, lust for power, status, achievement of the targets by hook or crook, by crooked means. So obviously, as a teacher, we carry this challenge. We are to build the nation. When we are to build the nation, obviously, we are to build the ethical value among all the types of leaders. So it means we will have to revise our curriculum at the national, international, national, local level, at college level, at least autonomous colleges they can follow, universities they can follow. So many universities have introduced the subjects of ethics, human values, but whether those classes are being taken with all question mark. I can't speak, otherwise some people will say perhaps I am hinting at them. Whether the book recommended by a particular university, at least in Punjab, was fair, particular book was recommended. No comment I will give. Such a transformation warrants training of the young and competent professional to steer this system. So all of you will definitely agree, training and development, competent professional to steer the system. The trained professional should have diverse, positive moral values, ability to take, contribute to decisions, capable to upgrade the internal potential. We are to tap the talented, latent qualities of the persons, lead the team in self-development, self-management, self-improvement. It means this is all positive contribution, but we have already American surveys shows that there are negative values. So obviously, in order to counter all those negative values, we need positive leaders with positive values. So Ram और रावण की जंग पानी है. People with Ravana abilities thinking are there. So if you want to bring the Ram Rajya, obviously you have to develop people like Ram. Qualities of student leaders. Simple statistical analysis reveals there had been such studies. I have taken this from this study called 2007 USA. Statistical analysis reveals that a leader's behavior contributes more to a team's commitment. It means definitely there is a relationship. This slide focuses on that there is a statistics proves the leader's behavior contributes or influences team commitment, loyalty, motivation, pride, and productivity than other variables. So definitely, my friends, my fellows, you will agree that this slide highlights that there is a need for promotion of qualities of leaders among the students. To follow someone willingly, the majority of the people believe a leader must be honest, forward-looking, competent, inspiring, humility, strong resolve, or dedication. Humility, Nimrata, as Guru Nanak Dev Ji says, Mithat Nimin Nanka, Gun Changyaiyan Tat. All virtues, all features, all qualities, they emanate from, they spring from humility, humbleness. The humbleness means obviously feeling for self will develop, that's a homage. And Guruji says, how many Dirgha Roga hai? It's a very, very deep disease. So obviously, is all of the help of humanity. Guru says, Mit bolada ji, har sajjan imora. Father, who is your father? Ultimate father, God, superpower. Guru Sahib says he is also speaks in humbleness, very sweet in speaking. Mit bolada ji, har sajjan swami mora. Guru says, my Swami, my Lord speaks very sweetly. So obviously, it means teachers, they are the challenge to us. We must start learning very sweetly, so that we people are many times role model for our students. And when we are role model, obviously they will develop all those qualities, virtues among themselves, which they see in us. Then quality of student leadership, and this pattern hold across countries, cultures, ethnicities, organization functions, hierarchies, genders, levels of education, or age group. So this prevails among all these values means they are prevailing, they are universal. We can't contest these values can't be prioritized in a particular region, in a particular country. They are not needed. They are universally needed. This is said by study by Poland, USA. Next, qualities of student leader. What does honest? If you don't believe in the messenger, you won't believe the message. So many times there are stories repeated. A lady along with his son went to a saint, and she said, Santji, my son takes too much jaggery. ये बहुत गुड़ खाता है. So Sant then said, okay, you come next time. She went the next time. Sant again said, you come again next time, and repeated many times. At the last, she said, okay, bete, you don't take jaggery. So mother said, oh, ji, आप ये पहले ही बोल देते. I have not, you said. Then son said, okay, earlier I was also taking. First I left. So we will have to abandon all those negative qualities. As a teacher, we will have to be honest. Today's lecture, topic choice by Dr. Navdeep, poses a challenge to the teaching community as well. Definitely, it's a challenge to the nation, to the international community. Advanced country research study shows it. Definitely, it's a challenge. Much is to be accomplished, is to be done by people at the top level, but some responsibility also lies on the soldier. हमारे shoulders पे भी duty है. So we will have to be honest. Leaders can't model the behavior they expect from others if they are not honest, trustworthy, and highly credible. So what does honesty mean? Then forward-looking, leaders are expected to have point of view about the future and to articulate exciting possibilities. So definitely, you must have ability to catch the future. I was talking to one of the share broker, and frankly speaking, I am sharing my personal example. I asked one of the brokers that I have bought a particular share on the basis of this news which appeared in Economic Times. But this share price did not show any upward trend. I have not gained anything. He said, sir, the already this share price was loaded because of the news. Maka, okay, I read this news in very morning and I have asked you then to buy the shares at the prevailing market price. Okay, the people know already. And I can show you the gentleman, our executive in our office, Mr. Brajinder Singh. He said to me, sir, I am subscribing to a app which flashes news, instant news. इकोनॉमिक टाइम तो कल आएगी, ऐप में तो आज ही आ गई. So that's what all leadership quality, forward looking. Though I am a professor of management, but I could not think of, it means I am not forward looking. So people are really advanced. This is what sets them apart from other credible individuals. So it means we must update in the modern days of technology. Our knowledge must be updated. We must use the technology. Competent when they are performing at their peak. Leaders more than just getting results, more than your inner spirit is something else. Leaders' inner spirit is something else. Not only you have the things done, leaders took our opportunities and seized initiative, enhancing the perception that they are dynamic and capable. Inspiring, obviously, you should be able to motivate leaders who recognize and celebrate significant accomplishment. Why do you reward, give incentives to the students who stand first? Because you are inspiring others. But in many institutions, prize distribution functions are not held for so many years together. Obviously, sense of commercialization to avoid the expenditure, to cut the cost. For accomplishment, for positive energy, increasing others' commitment to their vision and values. I hope all of us can understand. Then essential competencies for leaders. Various studies identified the following competencies for the leaders: adaptability. You might have read the proverb, कहावत है गंगा गई गंगाराम जमुना गए Jamuna Das. You must be able to adjust according to the environment. Just please, scholars, 1 minute. पानी मेल ना आ ले लो मको बलजिंदर scholars, just 2 minutes. Essential scholars, please. Participants, please. Being dean of search, I am habitual of using the word scholars. Might be all of you are scholars again. Essential competencies for leaders. We have already discussed by this study. Okay, teacher-student leadership. Know that you know the traits that people, society look for in the leaders. What type of competencies are required? Adaptability. So it means we will have to develop among our students flexibility, adaptability, effective communication. But definitely we have a challenge. Though this subject, business communication, effective communication, is being taught, but all of us feel that the students, they are lacking in speaking even a particular language. People born in Punjab, they are not even able to speak in Punjabi, exactly Punjabi, not to talk of English. Learning ability, multicultural awareness. So because globalization is developing, I was going through an article कि executive was holding meeting, an Indian executive was holding meeting in Tokyo, having a team of employees, top employees, one from France, another from Germany, some from America, somebody from Australia, different cultures. So many among us know that our people, our students, they are going abroad. There's very much lack of strength in our colleges. So it means foreign country, they are managing the cultures. Multicultural, those employees, those our students, after studies, they do job there. So it means for modern people, multicultural awareness should be there to manage them. So as a teacher, we are to develop all those qualities among our students. You can start to embody them in order to make students of your institution an exemplary leader. Students in our education system now will have to deal with complex problem and they will need those competencies and skills to do so. This is also studied by Bowman. Leadership development. Now we people carry this challenge. So we will have to help the leaders. There is a quote, leaders are born, they are not made. If we say this, we get rid of this problem, get rid of this challenge. We can escape this. But another person is there to challenge all of us again. Vinci Lombardi said, leaders are made, they are not born. They are made by hard effort. The price which all of us must pay to achieve any goal that is worthwhile. So we will all will have to pay to develop the leaders. Student leadership development, SLD, is comprised of the experiences created by educators, particular life experiences that cause people to change their behavior and action towards this idea of leadership. Leadership training is of two types, indoor, outdoor. Leadership training indoor is recognized as a learning activity such as, now you can develop the leaders and you are unconsciously doing it. Team building game, through team building games, what you can do, team building games, group discussions, at least definitely in MBAs, in placements, in engineering team, a group discussion is being held. Why do corporates organize group discussion? Why do they evaluate, choose the people on the basis of group discussion? Obviously, you are to lead the team. Who takes initiative? That is why companies select the leader who takes initiative. Student councils are there. Students start learning the management. They involve students council. They are also involved in decisions at the college level, institution level, university level. Involvement in societies and clubs. Many societies, clubs, they are formed in each and every institution, and students learn from their experiences. Organization of functions and other activities. You give this assignment to do the students. Okay, you organize yourself. You just be silent observer. Other extracurricular activities, they are also arranged in the colleges. It's all happening in institutions. So something is definitely already happening there. But okay, we have to follow them aggressively. Outdoor activities. Organization like Outward Bound, USA, there's a experiment in the USA on this. Very interesting study. Have been revolutionary in leadership development. This is institution Outward Bound. have been revolutionary in leadership development for all ages for many years now. This is the study. Outward Bound focuses on outdoor skills and explicit leadership like community and leadership development. We need community leaders. You develop them. Connection to place. Definitely, you must be attached to your native places. Problem solving. You are emotionally attached with your native places. Field science experiences. In agriculture, this field sciences practices, you send the students to the field area. Even agriculture field may be there or your own mountainous fields, any area. It can be. The institute teaches these three pillars simultaneously in a low risk scenario and also has high education program. And you know, if you people remember when Australia won the World Cricket Cup, before that match, Australia picked all its players, put them in a helicopter and dropped them here, there in jungles. Why? They wanted to test whether all these can take the risk. They wanted to develop the risk ability to search them. At least when you people will live in a stress or risky environment in a jungle, you can bear the pressure of the cricket cup going on. Comparison of indoor and outdoor training. Every institution, they are to be followed simultaneously. This type of indoor, we are already doing. In a routine, we can do it. Outdoor, we can practice it. This American study teaches us that we should also follow this practice in our country, in India, in our institutions. So during vacations, we can develop them. We can organize leadership development programs. You can charge the fee. Good area for consultancy. Just what you are supposed to do? You are supposed to develop a program. Comparison of indoor and outdoor training. The students that participated in the expedition demonstrated improvement in all 5 categories. They were measured on the basis of 5 categories, 5 parameters. They demonstrated improvement. Modeling the way, inspiring a shared vision, 5 criteria, challenging the process, enabling others to act, and encouraging the heart. Those in the classroom improved only in 3 of the 5 categories: modeling the way, encouraging the heart, and enabling the others to act. So it means both this outdoor is far better. That is why MBA people, they are sent to engineering students, they are sent for training to industrial concerns, outdoor training, not in-house training. That should not be preferred by us. Student leadership development. It is interesting to know that whether in the classroom or in the field, most of the students saw improvement. But definitely, if you will focus, there will be improvement. In contrast, those in the intensive field program experience more gains in leadership skills. In our Punjabi culture, it is said, Munda te Ramba Chande kam aandhe. If you sharpen your spade, that will be better. This article argued that and demonstrates the role of field education. I'm missing of the role of field education and hardship plays an effective leadership development. So ultimately, conclusion is there at the end. Then building leadership competencies, Council for Advancement of Student of Standards of Education of USA sets a standard and recommended program for the advancement of students in leadership. So obviously, we can replicate this study in our country, in our institutions. It means we will have definitely to organize a program, a certificate course, diploma course for leadership. The course must be advanced to students in 4 categories. This organization identified key foundation of leadership, basics, personal development, interpersonal development, development of groups, organization, and systems, and faculty role for student leadership: engage, enlighten, lead. What we challenge, we people carry. Faculty role for student leadership: we are to engage the students, enlighten them, and lead them, and definitely they will become leader. So, okay, definitely there are problems, but we are to find out the solution, and we are tell the students that those who face hardships, who encounter the problems, definitely they will lead. Just listen. जिंदगी प्यार का गीत है. Now, the way of life, leadership, we will have to teach the students. Raat taron bari means comfortable environment may not be there. So what we have to do? What we to teach them? दिल का दीपक जलाना पड़ेगा. We will have to find all the solutions from within ourselves. So definitely a lot of potential is there. Gurus also says तेरे अंतर नाम दान है तू बाहर बस ना पाल. You have unlimited potential, lot of potential. So definitely, if you tell the students, if you motivate the students, then they will agree to this. So then another part of my presentation is there. Just wait for some time. बलजिंदर खोल दी नहीं यार. स्टूडेंट मोटिवेशन. Respected participants, another part of my presentation is student motivation. But before I start, I seek your permission that you please allow me to run this part of these slides at a speed. बहुत सी मजबूरियां उस तरफ भी होंगी, बहुत सी मजबूरियां उस तरफ भी होंगी, यूं तो कोई बेवफा नहीं होता. So Dr. Nadeep has given me 2 topics but 1 session. Last time it was 2 topics, 2 session, but this time she bundled me in 1 lecture. So I'm also bundling these 2 topics into 1. So I start with this topic with the student motivation. So first of all, we are in the college, which is Guru Nanak Dev Engineering College, which is organizing this event. So this college, Guru Nanak's philosophy says, Govind milne ki ye teri bariya. The life is given to human being in order to see the Almighty. Our kaaj tere kite na kaam. No space for any other assignment, worldly activity. Mil sadh sangat bhaj keval naam. So you all, majority of might be believing that we ultimate objective of human life is to see the Almighty, meet the Almighty, immerse in the Almighty. So there should be good karmas. Guru says, har milne ko man lochda karma malabanhar. Govind milne ki ye teri bari, it's okay. But at the same time, Guru says, har milne ko man lochda, everybody wants to see the Almighty. Paramatma Allah Ram Nima Kalpuruk. Vaheguru. Har milne ko man lochda karma malabanhar. So it means teachers, the karma philosophy also enforces us, directs us, we should also motivate the other students. Why to motivate? I was fascinated during my studentship at Punjab University campus when I was a student there in master degree. I was fascinated by this slide, this wall hanging, the teacher's role. What is this quotation says, give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and feed him for the whole life. So teacher's role is to make the student able to earn for the whole life. So then there is another saintly figure of this period, of this yug, Baba Nand Singh Ji. He says, किसी ਨੂੰ ਰੋਟੀ ਦੇ ਦੇਣਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਬੜਾ ਪੁੰਨ ਨਹੀਂ, ਰੋਟੀ ਦੇ ਯੋਗ ਬਣਾ ਦੇਣਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡਾ ਪੁੰਨ ਹੈ. So our religious philosophy, our religious person, religious preacher, they all. So it means we as a teacher carry this challenge. We are to make our students able to earn their living. So what is motivation? Motivation is the process of inducing others to engage in goal-directed behavior by presenting motivators. So we are to give them motivators. There are 2 types of motivators. Or definitely these are the advantages of motivation. Ki fall in the number of students, protest strike, improved relation between student teachers, performance level of target persons, reduced level of absenteeism, and increase brand value of the institution. If you will motivate the student, you will take interest in their life. So definitely those students will come to the institution. Perhaps I have repeated it last time also. This Punjabi song, when you will love the students, when you will take interest in those students, they will come to you always. So when you have love for them, they will come to you. In Punjabi song, there is, I previously said, ਸਦੀ ਹੋਈ ਮਿੱਤਰਾਂ ਦੀ ਮੈਂ ਪੈਰੀ ਜੁੱਤੀ ਨਾ ਪਾਵਾਂ. Students will come to you with such a love. When you will love them, love their life, they will love you. Motivation energizes and directs behavior towards achievement, and therefore is known to be an important determinant of academic success. Important determinant of academic success. So if you want to, types of motivator: intrinsic motivator, extrinsic. And in intrinsic motivator include fascination with the subject, sense of relevance of the subject with the life and world. You just link the subject with the life and the world. Real life importance, sense of accomplishment in mastering it, sense of calling to it. Intrinsically motivated students say things like this. It is the symptom whether your motivation is complete or not. Elements of mechanical and engineering interest me. When the student will start saying such words, it means you people have motivated them. That's the test. Mastering math shall give me an edge in competition. I feel elevated when I top the class. So such type of feeling students will give you. Intrinsic motivator can be long lasting. Intrinsic motivator can be self-sustaining, need efforts to promote students' learning. Such efforts focuses on subjects rather than rewards. Intrinsic motivators, they focuses on subject. Coaching for competitive exams. Students don't expect a reward, final reward. They want success in a JE exam, MBA, CAT, MAT, entrance test, competition test, job test. Efforts at fostering intrinsic motivator can be slow to influence behavior. Definitely, intrinsic motivator, they are slow. Variety of approaches required as the students have different IQ, EQ. So there is definitely challenge, problem, ki different type of students are there. This type of challenge teacher carries. Challenges of knowing one's students. So it means that is why class is divided into tutorials, groups, so that you can understand the students. The institution administration may interpret the relation of the teacher with the students as a interest in the subject. If the students have good relation with the teacher, it means they also love the subject. Helpful to know that what interests students in order to connect these interests with the subject matter. So characteristics of intrinsic motivator, then extrinsic motivators, parental expectation. It means that is why parent-teacher meet is there. Expectation of other trusted role models. What other people, others role models, earning grades, competing for scholarship. These are extrinsic motivators. Extrinsically motivated students say things like this. What are the symptoms? I need A+ in data structure and algorithm to earn distinction in subjects. If I flunk chemistry, I will lose my scholarship. Our instructor will bring us donuts if we do not. If we do well in today's quiz, these are the extrinsic motivators. Characteristics of extrinsic motivators. So what is the utility of discussing all this? So teachers, we can make a combination of intrinsic and extrinsic motivators. We know that's a everlasting intrinsic motivators, but in the short run, it's extrinsic motivator which works. So you can optimize. Extrinsic motivators more readily produce behavior changes, incentives, chocolate to a child, incentive, toys to a child. Definitely they motivate the child. Same is the case with the student. Typically involve relatively little effort or preparation. Extrinsic motivators do not require extensive knowledge of individual students because money or money's worth is the need of everybody. Extrinsic motivator often distract students from learning the subject at hand. Sometimes this is challenging for devising appropriate rewards and punishment. So such a type of challenges are there. So characteristics, there are other characteristics. I hope you people know. Selection of a motivator by faculty. What you people? Selection of depends upon teachers' engrossment with the students and students' enlightenment expectation. I hope all of you will agree. You will agree कि definitely just have a glimpse on this कि whether it motivates.
दोस्तों, आज मैं तुम लोगों को एक कहानी सुनाऊंगा। एक लड़के की कहानी। एक लड़का था, मत पूछो क्या। वो पढ़ लिख नहीं पाता था। लाख कोशिशों बाद उसको रहता ना था याद कि वाह इसके बाद आता था। अल्फाज उसके दुश्मन उसकी आंखों के सामने नाचते थे। डांस कर करके जी भर भर के बेचारे को सताते थे। पढ़ना थका देता उसको, थोड़े अपने सुनाता वो किसको। भेजा फुल था, स्टार्टर फुल था, ऊपर से एबीसी डिस्को। फेल हो गया एकदम बेचारा, पढ़ने लिखने के बोझ का मारा। लोगों ने उसे गधा बेवकूफ था, बच्चे ने सारा अपमान बहादुरी से सहा। फिर एक सवेरे उसने सोना उगला, तेरी जो सुनी जहां है सारा जहां पिघला। बोलो बोलो कौन है? Albert Einstein. Correct, Raj. Albert Einstein, genius, महान साइंटिस्ट, जिसने दुनिया को अपनी थियोरी ऑफ रिलेटिविटी से हिला कर रखा। The Brownian motion, the photoelectric effect, for which he was awarded the Nobel Prize in 1921. ईशान, जरा लाइट ऑन करना प्लीज। किस महान हस्ती ने दुनिया को इलेक्ट्रिसिटी से रोशन किया? एडिसन। थॉमस अल्वा एडिसन। बिल्कुल सही ईशान, वेरी गुड। वो भी बेचारा था एबीसीडी का मारा। आओ बैठो ईशान। नहीं लाइट नहीं, एडिसन भाई की रोशनी हम पर पड़ती है। ओके, इसको तो सब जानते हैं। बचपन में इसको भी पढ़ने लिखने में तकलीफ होती, लेकिन अब देखो क्या धूम मचा रहा है।
Okay, participants, I hope definitely you will agree कि is it all possible? Yes or no?
सत्तर मिनट है तुम्हारे पास। शायद तुम्हारी जिंदगी के सबसे खास 70 मिनट। आज तुम अच्छा खेलोगे और ये 70 मिनट तुम्हें जिंदगी भर याद रहेंगे। तो कैसे खेलना है आज मैं तुम्हें नहीं बताऊंगा। बस इतना कहूंगा कि जाओ और ये 70 मिनट जीत कर खेलो, क्योंकि इसके बाद आने वाली जिंदगी में चाहे कुछ सही हो या ना हो, चाहे कुछ रहे या ना रहे, हो या जीतो, लेकिन ये 70 मिनट तुमसे कोई नहीं छीन सकता, कोई नहीं। तो मैंने सोचा कि इस मैच में कैसे खेलना है आज मैं तुम्हें नहीं बताऊंगा, बल्कि तुम मुझे बताओगे खेल कर, क्योंकि मैं जानता हूं कि अगर ये 70 मिनट इस टीम का हर प्लेयर अपनी जिंदगी की सबसे बढ़िया हॉकी खेल रहा, तो ये 70 मिनट मुझे वापस नहीं मिल सकता। जाओ और अपने आप से, इस जिंदगी से, अपने खुदा से, और हर उस इंसान से जिसने तुम पर भरोसा नहीं किया, अपने 70 मिनट छीन।
I hope participants, you will definitely agree that teacher can change the fortune success of the students and institution. Another, your role. Let us share such type of story with students.
जल्दी गेट से उठा के बाहर फेंक दिया था, लकड़ों से दिल्ली आती में बहुत सारे जनरल कंपार्टमेंट था, बहुत सारे लोग थे, किसी ने मना नहीं किया। एक प्लेयर का जो स्पिरिट होता है वो अपने आप जब कोई छीनने की कोशिश करता कुछ भी वो देता नहीं है, फिर भी था मैंने वो मना किया और उन्होंने मुझे जल्दी गेट से वो 4-5 मिनट बाहर किया। दुर्भाग्य ये था कि उसी समय दूसरी ट्रैक से ट्रेन आई, ट्रेन में टकराई, फिर नीचे गिरी, दोनों ट्रेनें निकल गई। कुछ देर बाद मैंने हाथ को ऐसे रख के उठने की कोशिश किया तो देखा कि मेरा पैर कट चुका था। थाई को उठा के जब मेरा पैर ऐसे जीन्स में लटका हुआ था, ब्लड फुल निकल रहा, दूसरे पैर की हड्डियां टूट के बाहर निकल चुकी थी। पूरी रात में चिल्लाती रही ट्रैक पे, कोई बचा नहीं, कोई ना बचा नहीं। ट्रैक पे आपने कभी ट्रेन की ट्रैक पे छोटे छोटे चूहे देखे होंगे, मेरे कटे हुए पैर पे आग के मेरे पैर धर रहे थे। न मैं लक, न भाग्य, न किस्मत में तीनों पे भरोसा नहीं करती, क्योंकि मेरा मानना है लक भी उसी का साथ देता जिसके अंदर जीतने का जज्बा है। अगर आपके अंदर जीतने का जज्बा है तो आप परिस्थितियों को मोड़ देते हैं, परिस्थितियों को मोड़ देते। मेरे भाग्य ने दिया था कि मैं व्हील चेयर पे आ जा, बैसाखी ले लियो ना, बैसाखी आप सभी जानते होंगे, बैसाखी पे आ जा, लेकिन वो मुझे मंजूर नहीं था। कोशिशों में ख्वाहिशों का ऐसा रंग तू खोल दे जिसके रंग में रंग जाए ये दुनिया, के बुलंद इन हौसलों को हासिल कर अपना मकाम, तेरी के आगे झुक जाए दुनिया। विश्वास के सहारे तू बढ़ता चल, तू बढ़ता चल। बॉलीवुड में जी जिंदगी ने एकदम टर्न लिया है। हॉस्पिटल के बेड पे मुझे सभी ने बोलते एक प्रोस्थेटिक लेग पे चलने और सीखने में जो नॉर्मल लोग होते हैं, एम्स के डॉक्टरों का प्रोस्थेटिक लेग पे चलने और सीखने में लोगों को करीब 3 से 4 साल लग जाते हैं। 21 मई 2013 दुनिया की सबसे टॉलेस्ट पीक पर मैं थी। कैसे लोगों को लगता था कि मैंने अपने इस गोल को, इस मिशन को अपने पैरों पे क्लेम किया। सच तो ये था, जो मेरा गोल था, जो मेरा मिशन था, मैंने अपने पैरों से क्लाइम ही नहीं किया था। जो मेरा गोल था, जो मेरा मिशन था, मैंने अपने दिल से और दिल से किया। आज मेरी लाइफ का सबसे बड़ा सपना पूरा हुआ।
आज फिर जीने की तमन्ना है आज फिर कुछ करने का इरादा है. I hope my dear colleagues, you can also motivate the students by displaying, visualizing such type of movies. There is role of teachers, as you have seen in Tare Zameen Par, chapter Arun Sinha stories. I have much to share. Should faculty share such type of success stories? Definitely. Now, strategies for बिल गेट्स, मार्क जुकरबर्ग, थॉमस अल्वा एडिसन, भाखड़ा नंगल डैम किसने बनाया? ठीक है. सो all these were illiterate people, but they were able to scale the heights.
तो मेरा जो सपना है ना, सिर्फ छोरा ही पूरा कर सकता है.
So it's all Dangal film. The role of father. I hope network problem, but all of you people are aware.
तो मेरा जो सपना है ना, सिर्फ छोरा ही पूरा कर सकता है. क्या हो गया भाई साहब?
देखो ना भाई साहब, कितनी बुरी तरह से मारे हैं. आपने बोला ना कुछ.
देखो ना भाई साहब, कितनी बुरी तरह से मारे हैं.
क्यों मारा?
गीता बबीता ने मारा है. चल चल भैया, मारे की पापा.
पहले यो बता, मारिया कैसे?
उसने मना को दिया बोलना तो मैं कुछ बुराई नहीं करी, लेकिन उसने बबीता को कमी नहीं किया. मारिया गुस्सा. इधर पड़ा दिया आपका. मैंने उसके बाल पकड़ के
यो सोच के रोता रहा कि छोरा.
चलो, okay, scholars, I'm sorry कि I hope you have got the message. No, in between intrinsic and extrinsic motivator, definitely teachers have some role. We should share the success stories, some definitely films which depict our role, which highlight portraits of the role of the teachers. But there are some real life of success stories which we must share with our students. Definitely they will feel motivated. So in between intrinsic and extrinsic motivators have a long life impact. Extrinsic motivators have a negative impact on intrinsic motivators. This is the research studies experiment. Psychologist Edward Deci had two groups of college students. Asked the student to play the puzzle called Soma. One group of students was paid for the puzzle they solved, the other was not. Other group was not given any incentive. The group that was paid for solving the puzzle stopped solving the puzzle as soon as the experiment and the payment was ended. This is really a case study. However, the group that was not paid kept solving the puzzle even after the experiment was over. This I have taken from this study. So now as a teacher, you have to decide what you have to do. Strategies for motivating students. I will explain just the know your students. First, number two, become role model for students' interest. Then third is use examples for motivation. Then fourth is use a variety of student active teaching activities. Then set realistic objective goals. Then place appropriate emphasis on testing and grading, because grades, marks, they also motivate students. Be free with appreciation and constructive criticism. Give incentive to the students. Capitalize students' needs, because obviously when need is fulfilled, this is also matched with our hierarchy of needs. Present environment of students motivation. For motivator, I am focusing. I have some interesting story which I can't share because of the scarcity of the time. It was an interesting story, experimental story, actually conducted. Actually, that has happened, but I can't share. So, but okay, definitely, my dear colleagues, now I'm on your side. The earlier part of the time discussion, I was as asking you to motivate the students, but definitely you people have some problem on the ground realities. The present environment of student motivated teachers, needs of motivators, whether they are fulfilled. If I कहते एक भूखे को पूछा था, एक और एक कहता था दो रोटियां, उसको रोटी नजर आई, कोई सामने भी arithmetically. So we teachers are underpaid. Our attention is diverted something else. So whether we people feel motivated, when I used to teach job satisfaction to my students in my previous colleges, I used to say that I am really surprised. I am teaching job satisfaction when I am not, I myself is not satisfied. There is a job dissatisfaction. So it means the challenge for the government, for the management is first the needs of the teachers should be fulfilled. At least they must be paid for their due. First level of needs, physiological, roti, kapda aur makan, marriage, physiological needs, they are not fulfilled. Then salary level and new grades, they are possible challenge for the government, management, Punjab government, governments of each state, privatization of education and teachers' position. Teacher has just become a commodity. He or she can be hired or fired at the sweet will. Workload and multitasking is there. I don't think in such type of environment we can motivate. Then job security of the teachers, already talked, job satisfaction of motivators, central government, financial support to the state for new grades. Definitely, this course is AICTE funded. It's a central body, but the central government has reduced the grant for implementation of the grades to the state, cutting the cost. Central government. Earlier, government used to give 80-20. 80% central government used to fund, and 20% was shared by the state governments for implementation of the new skills. The difference of the enhanced salary was given 80% by the central government and 21% was contributed by the state government. But now, it was around, I think, 50-50. The central government expenditure on education as a percentage of GP has declined, and there is a proverb, जे एक कहावत है, पेट न पईयां रोटियां तो सबे गल्लां खोटियां. So with all this, I hope I have finished my job, and with all this, I wind up my lecture. At the end, again, I express my deep thanks of gratitude to Dr. Navdeep, Madam Mandeep, other faculty members of the department, institution, Guru Nanak Dev Engineering College, and above all, I'm really indebted to all of you to listen me. You have very patience in listening to me, bearing to me. बहुत सी कुछ I had much and much more slides, but I could not share. I have prepared new slides, but because of the scarcity of the time, I had to be brief. So thanks a lot. That will be over from my side.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Dr. Sukhdev, for providing us with such an informative session and an interactive session. Your short video clips were really interesting video clips to provide an live example for the students. I thank you, sir, for being with us and providing information and holding a session here with us. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
ओके, चलो जुदा हो जाते हैं.
काम लग रहा है तेरे को?
We can depart now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's
Thank you so
over.
much, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much,
Okay,
sir.
bye.
Okay,
Bye,
sir.
bye.
Thank you, sir. For participant, it is a request that we will start our next session at 11:30. We are having a half an hour break for now, so we'll meet at 11:30. Thank you so much.
New to
This
this
conference
particular.
will now be recorded.
Okay. Where is the icon where I can share my PPT, ma'am? Will you kindly help?
Sir, you need to minimize this your email. Then at the
Okay,
bottom
okay.
you see the
Okay. Now,
on the
okay. Is my PPT visible? Okay, right. Even I can see. Right. Okay. Okay. Got it. We've been using Zoom for a long time, so not comfortable with this one. Okay, Professor Cord, do let me know when I can start.
11:30 we are going to start, sir.
Okay, okay. Thank you. So this is Jalandhar, right?
Sir, Ludhiana, Guru Nanak Dev
Ludhiana.
Engineering College, Ludhiana.
Okay, okay, okay. I was in Delhi a couple of months back, 8-9 months back. I was in Delhi. Was in IMI Delhi.
How's the weather there, sir? I think
Delhi Qutub Institutional Area. Near IIT Delhi.
you are from I am Tiruchirappalli. How's the weather there, sir?
Oh, weather is good. Weather is good. Like November, December is the best weather and best time to visit Trichy. So Just a minute, please. Yes, just a minute, please. Hello. Yes. Yes, ma'am. Right. It's a closed book. Yes. And before they kind of float it, can they send me that question paper, so that I will go through the questions and yes. Right. Yes. Okay. Thank you. And same goes for the term and exam as well. Okay, so before they finalize and send it to the students, I will kind of go through it so that there won't be any last minute glitch. Right. I'm already done. So by today evening, I will be sharing it with you. Yes. 20 questions, 1.5 minutes, and 30 marks. Okay. I will do that. Yes, ma'am. I will do it. Okay. Yes. I'm so sorry.
It's okay, sir. No issue, sir.
We have so many classes. This is middle of the academic year, so it's like full of classes, events, activities. I've been to Chandigarh a couple of times, but never been to Ludhiana. I've been to Chandigarh. I got one invitation from IIM Amritsar for teaching a course, but then I couldn't make it. So my only visit to Punjab is through Chandigarh to other places like Shimla and other places. So how's this FDP going?
We
Good?
would invite you as an expert speaker in coming FDPs. So then you will get a chance to come to Ludhiana, sir, visit us.
Yes, but first let a vaccine comes out. This COVID-19 has been a party spoiler. So how many participants do you have, ma'am, for this FDP?
Sir, we are having more than 100 participants in this FDP across India. Even one or two from outside India.
Okay, great. And most of these participants are from management do they have management background?
Sir, 40 from management side, another 60 or 70% from engineering background.
Engineering. Okay, engineering. Okay.
A very good morning to all present. Now I would request Professor Mandeep Kaur Khosa to kindly introduce the speaker of this session. Mandeep ma'am. Over to you, ma'am. Mandeep ma'am.
नहीं लेक्चर सीगा मेरा ना लेक्चर खत्म करके अच्छा मैं बताऊं Yes, good morning to all present. Good morning, Sajeet sir.
Good morning, ma'am.
Sir, this is Mandeep Kaur Khosa, faculty Nanak Dev Engineering College. It's my great pleasure to welcome Dr. Sajeet Pradhan. Dr. Sajeet Pradhan has completed his PhD from IIT Kharagpur. He holds an MBA degree in HR from KIIT University. He is also UGC NET qualified. Dr. Sajeet has more than 15 years of experience in teaching, training, and consulting. He is a well-known behavioral trainer, having rich experience of more than 2,000 training hours in various organizations like Indian Oil, Railtel, BEML, Exim Bank, IDBI, NHPC, GAIL, Petronet, LNG Limited, ORG, Marg AC, Nelson, KIIT University, and DAV schools. He has trained government officers and corporate executives from more than 50 countries. He has authored 26 ABDC ABS articles listed in Scopus database, having 530 plus citation. His ResearchGate score is 14.28. Google citation H index is 11. I-10 index is 16. Some of his articles published in ABDC, A journal like International Journal of Conflict Management, Personal Review, Journal of Enterprise and Information Management, and Journal of Knowledge Management. He is a regular ad hoc reviewer to several ABDC ABS journals and was also the associate editor of journal like Global Business Review and emerging economy studies. He has conducted several FDPs on various data analysis tools like SPSS, AMOS, Smart PLS, and Vivo for Indian and international researchers. Before joining IIM Trichy, he was working at IMI New Delhi as associate professors in the areas of OB and HR. Dr. Sajeet Pradhan will be holding this session and he will be talking on the topic importance of interdisciplinary teaching and learning. I welcome you, sir, for this session.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you very much for this opportunity. So may I start or should we wait for the participants to come?
Yes, sir, you can start.
Okay. So good morning, all of you. Good morning to all the participants in India and abroad. What I will do is I will speak about the importance of interdisciplinary teaching and learning based on my personal experience. Been teaching management students for last 10 years. So when I speak of management students, it includes graduate level students, MBA, PGDM students, executive management students, and fellow scholars. So last 10 years has been a wonderful journey where I've kind of, gathered wonderful insights, amazing insights from the students, and have brought in some changes to my own teaching methodology. When we speak of interdisciplinary teaching and learning, and I would like this to be more participative. So I would love to interact with the participants. So anybody wants to, ask a question, raise a question, they can always kind of give me an indication through whatever means, like they can raise their hand or they can speak up, and then I will take the question and I will kind of try to address the query. Is it fair to the part? Is it fair? Can I have some response from the participants? Otherwise, it's like I'm not able to either see the participants, not able to hear. So is it okay, guys? So are they been muted or Dr. Navdeep, are they? Yes.
Pardon, sir?
Yes. Am I audible to all of you?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir,
Can the
your
participants
is also visible.
and Right, great. Okay, and can the participants communicate with me, or do we have, what's the process like? Should I continue, or it's like they can, ask the questions in the middle also? Like, I would
Yes,
like
sir,
it to
you can
be,
do. Sir, you can
how?
do your way. You can
Okay.
communicate in between as well. Or if you want to continue with the session, it's up to you, sir.
No, I would like them to kind of, ask questions. So I don't mind taking questions in the middle of the session as well. So I want this to be interactive, right?
Okay, right,
And
sir.
all these, and the participants are like most of them are from the teaching fraternity. So I consider them to be my peers. So they can ask any point of time.
Okay, right,
Fair?
sir. Not an issue.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, thank you. So interdisciplinary teaching and learning, when I speak of interdisciplinary teaching and learning, it means it means kind of taking certain components from a particular topic and using it in a other discipline. Uh, Kindly bear with me. Most of my examples will be from management because I'm comfortable that in that domain. So won't be having much of engineering examples. We'll have more of management related examples. But these examples will be easy enough to grasp, will be simple enough to align, with your own personal experiences and personal uh, teaching methodology and style. When I speak of interdisciplinary study, it provides a student to make connection between ideas and concepts which are kind of related to a particular domain and extend or extrapolate it to other domains or other spheres, learning spheres. This entire idea of interdisciplinary study has come from a philosophical school called constructivism. Now, constructivist paradigm talks about how people they learn. Now, this theory suggests that people create their own understanding and knowledge of the world. So people generally create their own mental models, and this learning happens continuously. So what happens is like we learn something, and then when we have a new experience, we revisit the past learning or the old learning and make some corrections, or we do the editing work. Now, through our continuous experiences, okay, and the sharing of the experiences, we create new mental models, and this mental model help us solve problems, solve life problems as well. Now, this is a very interesting way to look at, uh, how people they learn. Now, if I kind of connect this particular school with interdisciplinary study, which is very much in vogue these days, mostly in Europe and states, you will find a lot of colleges and universities kind of they promote interdisciplinary study, they promote interdisciplinary or cross-disciplinary research work. The basic premise and the idea is that knowledge cannot be found in sachets and pouches. Even I do believe that we cannot have knowledge in sachets and pouches, and which is like tailor-made for a particular purpose. Like for example, when we talk about a pouch of jam or sauce, we kind of have a particular uses of that particular thing, right? But learning doesn't act or behave, in that particular manner. So can a learning in a particular domain be extended, extrapolated further to other domains? Can learning in a particular area be extended to solve, address our life problems? Now, that is a wonderful way of looking at what we study, what we learn, and how students they study and learn. I would like to quote a very interesting example here. If I believe, I assume that many of you must have heard of Disney's Imagineering. Now, this is a very interesting word term. If you haven't heard of it, you can go and check Imagineering. Imagineering stands for, it's a combination of imagination and engineering. Now, when we speak of imagination, it's like fantasy. It's something which is not real, which is vague, which is not concrete. Okay, engineering is more concrete, which is more tangible in nature. So how do you kind of combine both these things? When people engineering is more tangible, it's something which is visible, conspicuous. You can feel it, you can touch, you can see the things. But imaginations are abstract concepts. So how do you combine the two? So when Disney thought of creating an amusement park, they kind of tried their cartoon characters, okay, which were mostly mostly alive in the fantasy world of a kid, okay, and they converted that into something which is real, which can be seen, which is visible, and they created an amusement park concept from that particular idea. Now I find that to have a lot of relevance to what we are talking about. Okay, like how do you kind of move from one learning domain to other learning domain, and how do you kind of create bridge so that the learning, okay, is not siloed. Learning doesn't stay in a particular area, right? And it has a real life application. If I may audaciously make a statement that most of the things that we teach, whether it's engineering or whether it's management, I will primarily talk about management, not about engineering. Engineering, of course, the students understand that there is an application side to it. I'm a mining engineer, so I understand it. So when we teach engineering students, it's easy to kind of relay, convey the messages to them, and we can talk about real life examples. The challenge happens when you teach a management graduate. All these management courses are very expensive courses, okay? So and the students are very smart, and most of the students, those who come to IIMs and top institutes like SPJAN, Excel, MDI, they have quality work experience. Now these guys, they calculate the ROI before joining the course, and most of these kids, they want to know the ROI thing, okay, after each class, each session, okay, they kind of try to compute the ROI. So how do you teach a management student things which they can take to the corporate world and apply it? So the biggest challenge is, unless and until you borrow concepts from other areas which are more tangible in nature, you won't be able to explain the real life application of the management concepts. Otherwise, most of the students will consider these management thoughts, philosophies, and theories as abstract, something pedantic, scholarly, but not having any real life worth. Okay, so that is a context from where I thought of having interdisciplinary teaching discussion in my classroom. I'm kind of trying to create the context and tell you where exactly it has come from. If you look at some of the challenges which are embedded in our educational system, is that there's a lot of rigidity in our educational system. Now, when I say educational system, I'm not kind of critical about the current practices. I'm pointing out some of the limitations and the drawbacks of the system. I'm not kind of talking about who did what. I'm just suggesting these are the drawbacks, which are bottlenecks. Bottleneck would be a proper word. So these are the bottlenecks which has to be kind of removed if education can be made something meaningful, where people can have a people can see the real life application from these sessions. What I will do is I will go to a couple of examples, and then we'll kind of try to connect it with. Yes. some of the examples which I kind of use in my class, and you can understand um, how interdisciplinary thing can be fun, can be a lifelong learning lesson for the students. One of the courses which I offer, and this is my research area as well, and I do a bit of training and consulting work in this domain, is talent management. So it's a talent life cycle. And if you explain talent life cycle, talent for people, engineering background people, talent are in organization, talent are people, those who are um, amazingly gifted. Okay, these are the guys, those who have high competency. When I speak of competency, I'm talking about knowledge, skill, and right kind of attitude. So they have a combination of all three things, which makes them a great, you know, star performer, having great potential in the company. So these are the wonderful talents that every organization they have. The problem with talent is, since they are really good, you know, these are the guys, those who kind of quit the organization very early. So if there is some kind of problem in the system or organization, these are the first, you know, the first ones to kind of fly or leave the organization. So I teach talent management, which comprises, I teach talent life cycle. It starts with talent acquisition, when people join the organization, okay. Then the talent grooming, we call it, you know, grooming, nurturing, developing talent. So you provide conducive environment, work environment, you provide them the right kind of job which matches their knowledge and skill. And then the final part is retention. The biggest challenge is retaining those talented employees. So what I've done is I've taken help of football clubs. Those of you are aware of football clubs. Now, these are football clubs are, you know, some of the clubs are also listed on stock exchanges. So like Man U, Manchester United, PSG, Real. So if you have heard of these top clubs, these are massive clubs. And uh, my way of teaching talent management is through the football clubs and football stars example. So I kind of study or teach Neymar, how Neymar, you know, joined Barca, moved to PSG, and I kind of talk about transfers. I talk about how you know, club managers, they haven't done good in retaining people, how Man U and Real and Barca, they have their own grooming school where they kind of identify the kids and groom them. So it's about in-house talent and talent which you kind of, you know, poach from your competitors, rivals. So uh, sports management, if you guys are aware, I am Rohtak offers a sports management diploma, right? So it's a big industry. Sports industry is a big industry. So when you kind of, you know, combine talent management, which is a HR course, with a sports management course, then when you bring those examples, people get excited, students get excited, and these examples stay with them for a long period of time, and they can, you know, they can relate to it. So when I offer this as an elective, people can understand where exactly you know, the club has made a mistake, where exactly they have done a mistake, and what kind of learnings they can have, what kind of insights they can have, which they can use, okay, in their organization, in their future organization, so that they can retain their top talent, they can retain their you know, superstar performers or superstar employees. So what is the point? What is the point in talking about it? What I'm talking about is, if I kind of you know, stay with the talent management literature, what has happened in last 15-20 years, what McKinsey has talked about. Those of you are aware of McKinsey's talent war book, okay, so they can relate to it. People from management background can relate to it. I'm so sorry regarding the engineering participants, but they can always take some you know, learnings out of these examples. So what is interesting is, one, I have used examples which are real life, which known to the participants. Three, I have kind of challenged them to come up with a model by which they can, they can suggest the club managers, the club, to retain the superstar football players. And the same model, can the same model be extended to corporate world? That's a very interesting thought. The second example which I would like to quote here is, I teach human behavior. Human behavior, whether it's engineering or management, there are two types of human behavior at workplace. Productive work behavior, and then there's something called deviant work behavior, or unhealthy, unproductive work behavior. So most of the organizations obviously want people to demonstrate or display positive work behavior and less of deviant workplace behavior. Now, where exactly to look for when you kind of want people to behave in a particular way? For example, Satyam's Ramalinga Raju, for example, IPM's Fanesh Murthy, for example, Rajat Gupta and insider trading. So when you want people to talk about good behaviors, I guess Mahabharata has a profound lessons which can be used in organizational behavior. I know of a faculty from Ahmedabad who wrote a paper on this particular thing. So I borrowed that particular thing and I thought of using it in my own course. And I'm very fond of Mahabharata, so I've read a lot. I have read a lot, and I've read multiple versions of Mahabharata. So Mahabharata has teachings for every generation and for every person. It's how we interpret it and how we internalize those lessons and learnings. Now, there are concepts of leadership. There's concept of succession planning. There are concept of like commitment, organizational commitment. I talk of Visma, Drona. Okay, I talk about the right and wrong. I talk of business ethics in Mahabharata. Okay, right and wrong, the virtue and vice. Okay, the yama and the niyama. So I talk about those things. I use it, how managers should behave, how managers should kind of treat their employees. What are the right thing to do, what are the wrong thing to do when facing a business dilemma? What should you do? Goal alignment, value alignment. So all these things you can get from Mahabharata and other Indian scriptures. I've been using Mahabharata extensively, but also kind of borrow concept from Ramayana and use it in management courses. So what I'm talking about is, if we look at Mahabharata and Ramayana, these are some of the holy scriptures, and these are part of mythology. Okay, so when you kind of bring concepts and use it in management, one, this participant, the students understand the concept in a much better way. One, two, there is a deep internalization process which kind of get initiated when you when you kind of discuss these examples in the classroom. When I speak of internalization thing, the best part is the moment they imbibe it, it gets reflected in their character and the behavior. So there is a long-term consequence, long-term positive impact or implication on this particular thing, which is wonderful, which is really interesting. So what I'm talking about is, can subjects or topics in management and engineering be made interesting by borrowing concepts from other domains, from other areas, which will one very exciting, interesting. Then there will be some kind of real life learnings which they can use to address their life challenges or life problems. Now, these are the couple of goals which can be served with the help of interdisciplinary learning. Now, I will go to one very interesting example, which will be exciting to all the participants, not just the management participants. Let me confess, borrowed it from Harvard Project Zero. Harvard Project Zero talks about interdisciplinary thing. So if you look at the sound of music, this example I borrowed from the Project Zero thing, where they have talked about physics and music. Now, if you look at these musical instruments, the musical instruments create some kind of sound. So people, those who teach physics, can you use musical instrument, okay, in the classroom and incite students or trigger some kind of curiosity in their mind by making them ask about sound related concepts and theories. Today in the morning, just an extension of what we are talking about, today in the morning I was going through a TED talk. Okay, the TED talk is about Van Gogh, okay, and his painting, the Starry Nights, if you're aware of the famous painting Starry Night. And there's a German physicist who talked about relativity and turbulence, and he was so confused about turbulence and relativity, which is a physics and mathematical challenge. Okay, for ages, it's been something which kind of defying the collective wisdom of mathematicians and physicists. So can that be answered through paintings? So that TED talk is an amazing way of looking at mathematical problems and physics related problem through something which is more aesthetic in nature, like painting. So music painting can be, the concept of music and painting can be borrowed into the class and can be discussed. In one occasion, I heard somebody talking about the merits of bamboo. So people from Northeast can vouch for that bamboos are very, very, very strong in nature, and when when used properly, bamboos are more durable and more strong, robust than steel as well. So in many cultures and societies, bamboo has been used for infrastructural development. Okay, so can we have learnings from bamboo and use it to understand a physics concept? Okay, like brittleness, like tensile strength and stuff like that. So what I'm talking about, can we borrow concept from other areas and use it in our domain so that it can become more interesting, it become more enriching? But the most important part is it triggers the inquisitiveness of the students, which will kind of help them look at learning in a more broad, in a more comprehensive manner, rather than looking at it from a very siloed, functional manner. Okay, what I will do is I will talk about certain benefits of interdisciplinary learning, which I've already talked about it. I talked about the preconceived mental models and the rigidity that our educational system kind of provide us. So we inherit that rigidity and the lack of flexibility. Some of the challenges which I can understand is, educational systems like IITs and IIMs, they have this luxury of designing their own course outline. Of course, we do follow the protocol, process of getting it vetted by the area and then by other big bodies like academic council, which kind of also approves it, and then it gets endorsed by the dean. So we also kind of follow a process of benefiting from multiple people and the wisdom of many. Okay, so we also follow that particular thing, but we do have the luxury of being a bit audacious, a bit courageous in our thought process. So we create some of the courses which can which might sound crazy, which might sound a bit non-conventional, non-traditional, but if looked into in detail, okay, so people can see the merit in it. People can see the pluses and the advantages of it. So the first, benefit of the interdisciplinary learning is students can, not just students, even faculty members, they can see the biasness. When we teach a subject, we teach a subject from certain pedestal. As a faculty member, being a faculty, and as one of the colleagues of yours, I can tell you that when we kind of discuss certain things in the classroom, we discuss it from a pedestal. We don't question those things. We inherit those theories and the formulas without kind of going deep into it. Now there is a whether we accept it or not, whether we recognize it or not, whether we acknowledge it or not, we inherit certain biases and the prejudices which is there in the textbook, which is there in the concepts or the theories, without challenging those things, without challenging the status quo. And the same thing we pass on to our students as well. We kind of tell them, okay, this is the formula, these are the things, this is the theory, and this is how it works, without kind of creating some kind of curiosity, some kind of inquisitiveness to challenge the status quo, to challenge the traditional wisdom, to challenge the the conventional wisdom. Now that is something which I believe is not healthy, which is not right way of doing things. And there's been a lot of changes as well. There's been some changes which we are witnessing in the last 2 decades, where people have looking at pedagogy from multiple perspectives. They are, I know of engineering colleges who, without naming them, of course, private and government engineering colleges, who invite industry people to comment on the course outline. They ask their feedback. In management education, in top institutes like IIMs, we constantly get the feedback from the industry, so that we are in sync with their need, their requirement. But that is one part of it. The second part, which is not kind of captured through these exercises and activities, is how do you make an engineering student or a management student curious, inquisitive. Now this is a fundamental thing. How do you make them look at their own personal biases, the conscious and the subconscious biases? How do you make them look at their own mental models with fresh lens? So how do you do that? How do you make people think critically? There are exercises like perspective taking techniques. So how do you kind of make people look at models in a different way? And tolerate ambiguity and acknowledge and appreciate ethical concerns. So how do you do that? How do you kind of break the mold which we inherited, and kind of make students look at it from a fresh way, in a fresh way, or from a different perspective? It requires a certain personality adjustment as well from the faculty end. And when I say faculty end, I'm also with you. When I kind of brought in these changes in my courses, I saw a lot of resistance. One, resistance from multiple stakeholders. One. The second one is like every session was an eye-opening session. So because it wasn't something which we all agreed to. So there wasn't consensus and unanimity at the end of the session. But one thing was very sure, that everyone liked it. Everyone started questioning and challenging the old principles and the theories, and they started looking at it or revisiting it, okay, in a very fresh way. That is a positive takeaway from introducing interdisciplinary teaching in the class. One major drawback would be the cultural aspect. If our primary education doesn't promote curiosity or inquisitiveness at school level, what happens is, like 10 to 12 years, students being conditioned in a particular way. Now, when they are conditioned in a particular way, and at that age, it's a very impressionable age. So at that age, people, people consider that to be the right thing. So, and anything other than that is wrong. It's a deviance, it's somewhat anomaly. So they don't consider the other options available. Now, the problem is that rigidity enters into their, the mindset and the psyche, and they when they enter the colleges, when they go for engineering, professional courses like engineering or management, such changes comes as a shock. Okay, and many of them, they are not able to adjust. There are multiple angles to it, and I'm being practical over here. The multiple angles is, one, in all these classes, the objective is not to to get maximum score. The objective is to make people understand the concept and relook at the concept, okay, to kind of revisit these concepts, okay. So in that case, what I'm suggesting is, like, the first challenge would be people, those who've been topper throughout their life, the students, those who've been topper during their school days, all of a sudden find that, okay, there's no goal post. It's like, you are with a football and there's no goal post, and people are bewildered because till 12 they have a goal post. So like getting a good grade, getting a position in the class, okay, or becoming topper, district topper, state topper, national topper, and then you have the Olympiads, and then you have you have engineering exams, those entrances, and CAT, GATE, GRE, everything to crack. So they were goalpost, but all of a sudden they find there's no goalpost in the class. Okay, there's no pressure for grade, and so all of a sudden they get confused. What about the the previous 12, 13 years of my disciplined learning? So it goes out of the window. Okay, so they become confused and they challenge this particular change. So the one big challenge which I see in implementing it will be the acceptance of the students. The acceptance of the students will be higher. We being fortunate. When I say we, the management faculties are somewhat fortunate, because when a student comes for MBA program or PGDM program, they already have some bit of experience, or some experience in the corporate world. So they understand the ground reality. They understand that this course is somewhat different. But when a person enters an engineering course after 12, he is fresh from that particular thing. And so in that case, that rigidity, resistance, that that objection to such kind of teaching will be very high. So one has to be practical, pragmatic while rolling it, okay, in one's institute. So you can customize it. You can move in a very slow, steady way. I face the same kind of challenges and resistance, okay, while kind of rolling it out in certain institutes, because the old school that will consider this to be too eccentric, too kind of hatke, non-traditional, which may not have very tangible goals and objectives. So these are the challenges which I have come across and which I have faced, okay, while rolling it out. I will take a break here, and will love to have your thoughts, and then we will go to the next stage. Yes. So I've been talking for almost half an hour, so I would like to have questions from your end, and then I will kind of build my narrative based on your questions and queries, so that I will have a fair idea what exactly have you gathered from my 30 minutes of discussion. Yes. So anybody having any kind of query, any observation, any thought, any recommendation? Yes. please. Nobody? Okay, I don't see anybody asking any question. So I will do one thing. I will carry on with the presentation, and then at the end, I will take the questions. Okay. We will briefly talk about the some of the operational issues which one has to look into while offering interdisciplinary teaching interdisciplinary teaching in the institute. The first thing which you require to identify is what are the topics which are worth teaching in interdisciplinary way. So not all the subjects and topics can be taught in an interdisciplinary way. So some of the topics, like for example, I talked about ethics. Ethics can be taught in that manner, where you can borrow concepts from from mythology, from business ethics can be taught that way, from mythology, from history, okay, from other areas, and you can integrate it with the business ethics models, right? So that can be done. So identify the topics which are worth teaching, which when I say worth teaching, let me operationalize the word worth. One, it can be done in a practical way. Two, it makes sense to the the stakeholders like the students and the industry people. Three, see, every institute they have this grading system. So how do you grade them? How do you kind of examine them? How do you kind of see that learning has happened? So what is the grading mechanism? What is the evaluation mechanism which you can identify? In many cases, like for example, in case of in case of management studies, we have some kind of report writing or diary writing, so we can monitor that. So in case of engineering, that can be a practical challenge. It can be a real issue. So how do you evaluate this kind of teaching and learning in the class? So these are some of the important operational issues which you need to keep in mind when you kind of rejig your course outline. How will disciplines come together? How do you find which are the disciplines which can come together? Now, for that, of course, you need to do some kind of background work. You need to do some kind of, some review of literature. So you have to check out websites. You have to look for foreign universities where this particular topic is taught in a particular manner. For instance, I talked about physics, maths and physics can be taught in a different way, and a lot of top universities, they have been doing it. So they bring concepts from other areas, like for example, music, painting, okay, and the other artistic areas, and they kind of try to teach these concepts. So which are the disciplines which can come together? So you have to look for literature, you have to look for precedents, you have to look for some kind of real world example somewhere. Okay, based on that you can create your own course outline. How do you know students are understanding? But before that, I would like you people, before visiting this particular question, I would like you guys to do a pre-test. It's always better if you can start with a small group, a small dedicated group. In our management education, we have something called elective and core papers. Okay, so electives are curated papers. These are customized papers. These are specialized papers. Keep in mind a specific requirement, learning requirement or learning needs of the students. So what we generally do is we kind of customize it. So the number of students opting for such customized, super specialized elective course are very few. So my thought is, coming from my practical experience, is that one should start with an elective and then go to a core course. So it's better to start with one or two topics, or elective or super elective, okay, where you introduce such thing, and then you can check, you can gauge the students response towards this particular thing. And this is how you can also refine your methodology, your teaching pedagogy. You can refine it, and it becomes more refined and more acceptable to the students, because end of the day is the students who should kind of vet it, should validate it. So that is the first thing. The students' acceptance and acceptability is a must. I've seen many a times that faculty members having good intent and with great preparation, they and with a lot of effort, they offer a course, but when it comes to the students' feedback, it doesn't kind of the students' feedback doesn't kind of capture that effort and the intent and the strategies employed by the faculty members. So there's a mismatch, because probably it's not been communicated properly to the students, or it has not been kind of relayed properly to the students. So it comes with experience, of course, one, with experience you gain refinement, and based on that you can redesign the courses for future. How do you know students are understanding? How do you create the evaluation mechanism? Again, very interesting. For example, in case of management faculties and students, we have something called immersive exercises. We have ways by which we look at how people, they have internalized it. Okay, so there are ways and techniques and activities by which we can see whether the students, they have understood the concepts or not, whether they have well received the concepts or not. But this again has to be put on paper. So how do you propose to present it on a piece of paper? How do you kind of place it before your academic council or the larger body which will validate it? So again, these are some of the operational challenges which you need to look into. What will students do to learn? Okay, so how can you facilitate students to learn in the classroom? How do you kind of make it possible? What kind of conducive environment? What kind of hints and clues and cues you can provide? To what extent you should provide them? Senior students, again, you can give them less of hint, but younger students, like take first year, second year students, again, what kind of clues, cues, and aid and prop which you should provide, so that student get excited, one, learn the lessons properly, and they understand the concepts, they understand your way or method of imparting those lessons. So that again is very important. You need to kind of help students. And in my initial days when I experimented with interdisciplinary teaching, I did a bit of hand holding. So the hand holding process again is very important, and that is the discretion of the faculty member, and depending on factors like one, the type of course, the topic, okay, second, the experience of the students. If the students are experienced people, then you don't require to do much of hand holding. But if they require a hand holding, if they are younger lot, for example, we take first year, second year, third year, in that case you have to do a bit of hand holding. What disciplinary tools will students need? Okay, I talked about the interdisciplinary tools, the props, the help, the aid, which they require, which you have to facilitate, so that the understanding, the learning happens in a proper way. These are some of the things which I have already talked about. I will simply highlight it. That it gives a holistic view of concepts and issues. So it kind of helps them learn things in a better way. It makes them lifelong learner. It kind of trigger that that element of curiosity and inquisitiveness in them, so that they become problem solver. I see it many times in managing students. Like for example, we use a great deal of cases and caselet. Cases are near about 20-25 pages. Some of the cases are very exhaustive. They are 40-45 pages. Okay, so when we use cases, we actually want them, and cases in a way of learning a real or fictitious kind of event. Okay, and which got certain challenges, which got certain problems, and students, they have to identify those problems. Now we kind of push the students to look for answer, not just in the case facts, but also they have to kind of bring their life learnings and life experience into the case, and discuss the case from their personal experience perspective. So that is an amazing way of looking at the case. And the second angle, which the purpose which case serves, and which we also kind of promote, is, can the learning from the cases can be extended? Can it be extended to other areas? Like for example, if it's a case related to energy company, now can this be extended to a manufacturing company? Can this be extended to a pharmaceutical company? Now that kind of broadness in your thought process, that kind of comprehensiveness in your thought process will come when when you're kind of have that disciplined way of thinking. So have a methodology where you kind of look for all the options before taking a call. Now that is a wonderful way of looking at it. What generally we do, we ask students to focus on the right answer, but in case of management, there is nothing called a right answer. It's the right questions to be asked. So in case of management studies, we've been some kind of initial training. So cases are nice way of combining couple of disciplines, and for example, finance, operations, HR, strategy. And when you have that interdisciplinary approach, it helps you learn things in a more holistic manner, and become future ready, become corporate ready. And unlike engineering, management have this edge of having this interdisciplinary teaching methods embedded in their system. So somewhere it's kind of there's a natural acceptance to these interdisciplinary techniques. Final one is it helps in understanding address complex issues, complex global issues. Like for example, it can be a CSR activity, it can be a pollution related, it can be global warming. So we kind of connect the business problem with social problem, and the way we kind of connect it and the way we kind of put it in the class through cases, through activities, through some reading material, assignments, is something which kind of helps student approach a particular problem from multiple angles and multiple perspectives. So yes, that's it from my end. I've been kind of talking for more than 50 minutes. So now, if there's any question, I would like to take the question. I don't know how many of you have got the gist of it, but I assume that you have some kind of inkling about interdisciplinary from a management teaching perspective. Yes. So I would request the organizers to kindly ask the participants, those who have any questions, they may ask.
Yes, participants, any queries or questions?
Any observation? If not question, any observation, any thought? If anybody using any new method in their in their topic, in their course, even that will be a learning for me.
Hello.
Yes. Mr. Gaurav, please.
Yes. Sir, I have posted a question in the chat box. Can you see this?
Just a minute, please. Okay. I can see Gaurav to everyone. Login feedback. I don't see any question. Okay. I see attendance link, please, but no question.
So there was a question. Sir, in a I want to ask the question.
Yes. In lecture time of 55 minutes, how much time I should have to use so that students don't get bored and keep interest in that particular time frame and topic? Is that the question?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and Gaurav, Mr. Gaurav, will you kindly tell me your background? Is it engineering or is it humanities or is it like management?
Engineering, sir.
Engineering. What do you teach?
Sir, I teach RCC.
Okay, so I will put it in a way like Mr. Gaurav, if it's like 55 minutes or 1 hour lecture, so can you have certain activities? See, the time span, the concentration span of a student, average student, is 12 minutes. So what I generally do, can I speak from my perspective, my personal experience?
Yes, sir.
Okay, generally we have a class of 1 hour 30 minutes, 90 minutes, and then there are certain sessions which are of 1 hour, so 60 minutes. So generally I divide my 1 hour session into 4 buckets, 15 minutes bucket. Okay, Mr. Gaurav. So what I generally do is in 15 minutes, say for example, the session has to be divided into 4 subtopics. The topic has to be divided into 4 subtopics. For example, if I have to teach, let's say, talent acquisition or talent, okay, talent management. So first 15 minutes, I will talk about who is a talent. Is everyone a talent, or do we have any definition of talent like that? Then I will ask students to come up with their own definition of talent, okay, from their personal experience. We fortunate we get some industry students, so they talk from their own experience. So that is the 15 minutes. A topic, definition, an activity where they kind of talk about their own personal experience and how they define it, how they see it in the industry. Then we move to how do we acquire talent, how do we kind of hire talent, do we go for in-house grooming or this? So that again is a 15-minute thing. Then we go for another 15-minute another activity or small quiz, 5 minutes. If it's online, we go for a Google form, 5-minute quickly, 5-minute entire quiz, or third bucket. Then the fourth bucket is the summing up. This is the most important part. Okay, so when you kind of divide your topic into 4 subtopics, 3 or 4 subtopics, it doesn't become bore. Students don't become bored. It doesn't become boring. It becomes exciting, and students also are aware that there's some activity, some kind of feedback mechanism in the session which will kind of require my paying attention to it. So that way you can have students engaged. That way you can force student to think and question, okay, participate in activities. So I believe a 60 minutes has to be divided into smaller chunks, and each chunk should have some kind of activity which you need to think of. If you keep on talking for, let's say, 40-45 minutes and park the question for the final 10 minutes or 5 minutes, it probably won't work. And engineering students, I've been an engineering student, so I know that they are notoriously ill-disciplined. So what will happen is they will lose focus. So you have to divide the lecture of 60 minutes or 55 minutes into smaller chunks. Yes, Mr.
Sir, what if the students will be unresponsive in that case?
Are we talking of online mode or are we talking of offline?
So, as I am a new teacher, so I have started on teaching the online.
Okay,
So,
online there is a challenge. Online there is a challenge. If it's offline, you can always kind of but online. Since Mr. Gaurav, you are kind of teaching for the first time, or you are in the beginning of your teaching career, I would definitely urge you to have some activities. And see, students can surprise you with their talent. Students are not dull. We have a very wrong perception that students are not participating. Probably we are not kind of creating opportunities where they can participate. So previously, when I was of your age and was starting my career, I was of the same view that, okay, students are not interested, they are lazy, lethargic. But then slowly and slowly, I started understanding that students can be pushed. So if you put it in their court, you drop the ball in their court, you kind of allow them to kind of ask question, or force them to participate in the discussion. Probably that will help. When you put the ball in their court, it will definitely help, I guess.
thank you, sir. I will try it out.
Okay, all the best.
Thank you.
Yes, anybody else? Okay, Professor Navdeep, I think there's no further question, I guess. Or is there anyone who wishes to ask?
I request the participant, if they have any queries or any question, they can put forward.
I don't think they have any questions. Any further query, I guess.
Sir, should I conclude or do you want to continue? Because I guess the participant don't have any questions.
Okay, fine. So we can conclude.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir, for your interactive and informative session. It was a great pleasure for all of us that you were there with us for your session. Thank you for providing us with such a great information. I hope this will be helpful for all the participants who have joined this session. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you, all of you. Yes. Should I sign out, ma'am?
Yes, sir. You can sign out, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
So I request all the participants that our next session will start at 1:45. Till then, we will be having a break. Thank you so much.